What's up, Dragon Brood? Welcome back to our Core 21 previews. It seems like the set that just keeps on giving, doesn't it? Like, there's just so many things in this set. I am gonna have a ton of time as far as brewing. I know several of you have already sent me messages saying, like, what are you gonna put in the gruel list? Like, man, I don't know yet. Like, this is it's two reasons. One, there's actually quite a few choices already. The other thing is that I have no idea how the format's going to shake out and make which cards better or worse. So that's still a thing that's going to take a little while to figure out at this stage. So you're going to have to be patient with me. But in the meantime, let's look at some more cards. All right, so we have a Garrick here, and I'm going to have to look over to get a translation because it's not an easy one on a planeswalker. There are a lot of things there. All right, so here we have a Garrick Unchained. It's 2 colorless, 2 green. +1, up to 1 target creature gets +3/+3 and trample till end of turn. Pretty cool, nothing wrong with that. -2, create a 3/3 beast token. Then, if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garrick Unchained. Now this I dig, right? Because it starts at 4. You're like, cool, I'm gonna put it down to 2. But you have 2 creatures to my 1, so I get to go back up to 3. Like, that's pretty cool. So it gives you a way to possibly even protect Garrick for an extra turn, while also giving you the option to maybe get another creature next turn. So I dig that. -7, you get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Hot damn, that's awesome. Like, I don't know how we're gonna get there to that, because you need like 4 turns effectively. But once you're there, actually, check this out though. Like, the ability triggers during your end step. So on that 4th turn and you activate, you do actually start getting whatever creatures you want. So remember that Elder Gargaroth? Now we're talking, right? Like, so I don't know, maybe that's not even a thing, but this is going to be cool. I really do like this. I like the direction of the card. I like the fact that you can pump creatures up and give them trample. You know, it's also going to be good in some of these matchups against possibly the food decks if they're still around. So lots of stuff going on here. I really like this card. This one's not near as exciting, but still pretty good. So it's 1 green, or 1 colorless, 2 green. It's Garricks Herald. It's a beast. It has hexproof from black, which is interesting. And then when Garricks Herald deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, look at the same number of cards from the top of your library. You may reveal a creature or Garrick planeswalker card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is kind of neat in the sense that for 3 mana, you get a 4/3 that's got hexproof from black, which is pretty cool, meaning you can't be killed easily with black spells or whatnot. The other cool thing is that it's the number of cards for the amount of damage that you do. So interestingly, if you happen to have the Garrick we just talked about, and you give this +3/+3 and trample, well, however much damage gets through from their block, you get to look through that many cards and put a creature into your hand. So lots of neat things going on with this card. You know, is this the future Gruul Spellbreaker replacement we've been looking for? I don't know, maybe, but it is a 4/3 and that's kind of nice. All right, so those of you that didn't see it, I got to be on Good Morning Magic the other day, and Iberia was one of the pieces of artwork that we got to reveal, and it's very cool. So it's 2 colorless, 1 red, human shaman, has haste. Not bad, 2/3 creature, solid. For 1 mana, 1 colorless, another target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. And for 1 colorless, 1 red, tap it, discard your hand until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less deals combat damage to a player, you get to draw a card. That's a lot of stuff. Does this have a home anywhere? I don't know. It's kind of cool though that you can make something that can't be blocked, which is pretty neat. I mean, is this just like a weird filler card in some of the Cavalcade of Calamity type decks? You know, are you playing it in something that's playing a bunch of tokens? So you discard your hand and then draw 5 kind of thing? I don't know, there's just so much going on with this card. I feel like this card does everything and nothing at the same time, which is a weird space to be in. Maybe that makes it a great design. I don't know, but cool art. All right, Spore Silkweaver. It is 2 colorless, 1 green. Creature Spider, reach, hexproof from blue. So far, so good. It's a 1/4 creature. Whenever Spore Silkweaver is dealt damage, gain 1 life and create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. I don't know if this is good or not. You know, maybe you play it against the mono blue counterspell decks you see floating around every once in a while. I mean, it does have reach, it can block those things, you gain life, you get a token, but I don't know. I mean, it is when it's dealt damage, so it's possible you could set up your own type of scenario where you're dealing damage to the card and then getting tokens and life out of it, which could be kind of cool. So, I don't know, maybe it's not about your opponent damaging it. Just one of those things. Alright, Thieves Guild Enforcer. For 1 blue, you get a creature that's a human rogue. It has flash, which is great for those recent flash decks that have been coming around, especially blue-black ones. Whenever Thieves Guild Enforcer or another rogue enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 2 cards. I also appreciate that mill is a keyword now. And as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, Thieves Guild Enforcer gets +2/+1 and has Death Touch. This is very interesting. When it comes into play or another rogue enters the battlefield, you get to mill opponent 2, and then it's a 3/2 for 1 that has Death Touch. Hey, this card's kind of good. I don't know the exact spot it fits in, but I'm kind of digging it. There's people like playing mill decks. There's a mill theme in this set, so there's probably going to be a home for this. Like, this is cool. It's a reasonable creature. It's not great, but it's solid. So yeah, I could see some people playing with this. Now, looking at the Wildwoods Gorge, I have no idea how good this card is, but figured I'd cover it because people like Hydras, as it turns out. But for green and X, like mini Hydras, it's a Hydra. And Wildwoods Gorge enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, as we expected. And then whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on another non-Hydra creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on Wildwoods Gorge. So this is kind of cool, right? You play it in one of those decks that has the other +1/+1 counters. So every time something else gets bigger, this gets bigger. So that's kind of a different way to go about building a Hydra. I kind of dig it. Probably not a card I'll play in any deck, but it's cool that it's around. Okay, now this Conclave Mentor is the type of card I've been looking for the +1/+1 type decks. So for a green and a white, you get a 2/2, which is fair. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on that creature instead. Oh, +1. I was like, wait a minute, I read that wrong. That many +1 are put on that creature instead. Fantastic. Alright, then when this dies, you gain life equal to its power. So yeah, this is all around pretty solid, right? Because if you get multiples of these, now things are getting number of counters +2, number of counters +3. It also gives you life whenever it dies. So like, this is a quality small creature to really get in there with aggressive decks. Maybe even for some Naya or Selesnya aggro version, but like, this is a pretty cool card. And I feel like I'm gonna have to label today the best day of previews so far because there's so many green cards. So the Feline Sovereign. It is 2 colorless, 1 green. It is a cat. Other cats you control get +1/+1 and have protection from dogs, which is highly amusing. Whenever 1 or more cats you control deal combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Alright, so it's a 2/3 for 3. It gives all your cats +1/+1, which is cool. I'm kind of in on this, especially if you're going to build the cat dog deck and you're going to be playing Naya colors anyway and you're going to have cat tokens and dog tokens, then yeah, go for it. Why not? Well, today was a pretty short day. Wasn't too bad, nice and easy, and had some cool cards today. I was pretty jacked. I'd be interested to see some of the other stuff that goes with Garrick. I also want to say thanks to everybody for checking these videos out. I know these videos don't get as much engagement as my deck videos and other stuff do, but it's still cool that I know some of you actually appreciate these and want to watch these on the regular. Hopefully here, when we get to the last day of previews, we'll talk about what some of the deck list or deck ideas are that I'm probably going to put together. I'm going to cross my fingers that I get to participate in the early access event since I got to do the last 2, maybe last 3, I don't remember, for sure the last 2. So hopefully I'll get picked again and we can have some decks ready to rock and roll. But in the meantime, remember to like this video. Hopefully more people will see it and we get more people excited about the set. And if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel as I'm putting out content every day, especially right now during preview season. So you'll have something to watch every day because you get to see my lovely face. However they do the Vogue thing, I don't know. But anyway, that's all I have for you today. We'll see you tomorrow with more previews.